You've done it. You have done the hard work of getting rid of all your things and consulting with a financial consultant, a tax consultant. You found a place to live, you've gotten the visa, you got on that plane, and you moved to your dream country. And now you're feeling a little lost. Not exactly what you expected to happen. What do you do now? I experienced this after my third week living in France, and it didn't feel good. In this video, I am going to share with you 3 things you can do to help get out of this funk that you might be experiencing, something that you might not have expected. Hello, my name is Patricia Brooks, and I'm an American who has been living in the south of France for over 8 years. And I help people before and after their moves abroad navigate situations just like this one. I help them to envision what they want their new life to look and feel like. I help them to build the mindset and the habits and the thought patterns of the kind of person who transitions from their old life in their country that they've lived in for ages to their new country, which feels unfamiliar and uncertain and new and scary. And on my channel, I talk about my life in France, about moving abroad and how to live the kind of life you know you deserve to. And today it's all about the, oh crap, I did it. What next? Now, I want to start off by sharing why this happens. It's not something that is abnormal. A lot of times people who have just retired or are taking a sabbatical as they experience their new life abroad and who have not created a structure or a new project for themselves find themselves with too much time to think, right? And that those thoughts can go to guilt at having maybe taken a sabbatical or retired a little bit earlier than they had anticipated. Those feelings might be feelings of disappointment with themselves because they have not done the necessary things they needed to do to improve their language skills so that it might be easier to transition. It might be loneliness because they've left behind good family and friends and they're missing them. It could be any number of these emotions, and we're going to unpack these in a minute. But I think the thing to know is that it is normal to feel this way once you have made a big life change. And I think it's unexpected because we spend so much time on the logistical pieces. We've got a spreadsheet. We've got a checklist with all of the items we need to take care of. And one thing that is often missing is working on mindset, is creating habits and thought patterns that will serve you once you are in a place that feels unfamiliar, in a place that tests you. All right. So that's why it happens. And there's some things you can do about that. You can, first off, give yourself some grace. Don't rake yourself over the coals. Allow yourself to feel what you're feeling, right? Because it's a normal process of a big life change. The second thing you can do is to recognize what you're feeling. What are the emotions that come up for you? You might not be able to label your emotions. So a tool that I like to use when I'm coaching people is called the feel wheel. And you can Google that and a number of different feel wheels will come up. In the center of the feel wheel, you'll see emotions that are easy to express. I was sad, I was happy. Those very simple emotions. And as you go outward from the center of the circle, you'll get emotions that are a little bit more detailed, more refined, and you will be able to pinpoint exactly how you feel. Once you've done that, then the question is, well, what thought did you have that created this emotion, that started this emotion, that stirred this emotion in you? For me, when I made my move abroad, it was like, was it so smart to quit your job and start living off of savings? That made me feel guilt. And that made me feel like, oh my gosh, maybe I made a mistake. and I had this sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach, and it didn't feel good. So now you know, right? You do these two things. Now you know how you're feeling and you know what thought is coming up for you. The third thing to do is to say, okay, I don't want to feel guilty. I don't want to feel like I made a mistake. And how do I want to feel? For me, I wanted to feel like I was in control, like I had done exactly what I needed to do. I wanted to feel empowered. In order to do that, I needed to replace those negative thoughts that I was having with something that would allow me to feel more empowered. And the thing that came up for me was, no, you did the right thing. You know you were supposed to make this move abroad. You did the right thing. And that kind of gave me permission to experience my life here with a little less stress every time I thought that, right? Now, the thought of, oh, you made a mistake. Oh, how could you be so stupid? That came up over and over and over again. But when I became aware of that and when I started to feel those negative emotions, I was able to catch myself and say, oh, no, you did the right thing. You know you were supposed to make this move abroad. Let's make the best of it. And in doing that over and over again, I reprogrammed myself and I moved through that and those emotions and those feelings so that I could get out and explore my new city, my new country. It wasn't easy, right? It's not easy to do on your own, but this is how I work with people and helping them move out of the feeling of not being empowered into a feeling of, oh yeah, I can do this. This is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. All right. So that's a tool that I use. It's a tool I was trained on when I went through coach training way back in 2015, and it's very, very effective. So that's one thing you can do. Well, that's the second thing you can do, because the first thing is you're going to give yourself some grace. Now, the third thing that you can do is to start to imagine how you want your life in your new country to go. Oftentimes, we spend so much time planning to get here that we don't have a project in mind for once we do, especially if we are newly retired or we're taking a sabbatical and we have a lot of time on our hands. That allows us to think and to have those negative thoughts can spiral us down into feeling bad. All right. And so a lot of times it's really challenging to know what you want from life, what things you enjoy doing because you've spent a lot of time working for somebody else, or maybe you raised a family and now you have time for yourself, but you no longer know what it is you enjoy doing because you've lost yourself in the life that you were living before. And now you have time to do that. So exploring that. Trying new things is one way you can do that. But if you're unsure of what you even like to do, that's a good time to work with a coach as well. Okay. And once you do that, start that project. For me, the project was going to language school. That was not something that I had planned. I didn't want to be in a classroom, but I found myself there and it really helped me to improve my language skills, gave me something to do because then I had to study. But the second thing I did was I started a podcast, and I knew nothing about podcasting. So that meant I needed to do research. I needed to find equipment. I needed to learn the words for this equipment so I could go into the music store and ask for what I needed. And so I needed to find guests, right? I needed to publish my podcasting episode. So that was something that took a lot of time for me. And it was great because it got me out of my head. It got me out of my head. And so I highly recommend figuring out what you would enjoy doing, create a project around that, and take action on that. All right. Now, there is a fourth thing you can do. And that is if you feel like these are really good tips, but, catching yourself thinking about, how you're feeling and what your thoughts are and shifting that to something more positive is hard for you to do alone. That's where a coach comes in. I help people do this all of the time, and it's very effective in reprogramming how you're feeling about yourself, how you talk to yourself, so that you can transition into the kind of life that you want for yourself in your new country. All right. Now, I work with people one-on-one or in a group setting. I work with people before they move abroad so that they can build the mindset and the resilience before they make a move abroad, because oftentimes it's easier to do that when you don't have a lot of other things going on that are pulling your attention and causing you to not be in the best state of mind. But also after the move abroad, when people are thinking, but now who am I? Now that I'm no longer living in my old country, now that I'm no longer working the job I worked for 20 or 30 years, I could use some help with that. And then I have a group coaching program, and this is for single women who are ready to make the move abroad all by themselves, but who don't want to feel like they're doing it all alone. And this program is wonderful because it helps you before you make the move. As you're making that move, right before you're getting on that plane, you can get on a group coaching call and you get the support of other like-minded women. And then after you've made the move abroad and when you're feeling, what have I done, right? You can get on group coaching calls and you have access to this whole program for 3 years. So that means you can build your mindset and create thought patterns that are going to support this transition. And then you can continue the process of building on that and settling into your new life more easily. All right. If either of these programs sound like things that would be helpful for you, then let's get on a discovery call to see where you are, what you're struggling with, and if working with me could help you move through this process more easily. You can go to thecouragecatalyst.com/future expat, book your complimentary discovery call, and we can go from there. Now, hopefully this video has been helpful in giving you some tools to move through the transition period. If it has been, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, share it with friends, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.